The sun shone brightly over Los Angeles that afternoon, casting golden rays onto the marble floors of Avalon Luxury Mall. Inside, the air hummed with the soft sound of designer heels clicking against the ground and the faint strains of classical music. Shoppers moved leisurely through the high-end boutiques, sipping lattes and discussing their latest acquisitions. It was a haven for the city's elite, a place where luxury and exclusivity reigned supreme. Among the crowd walked a man whose presence couldn't go unnoticed. Dressed simply in jeans, a hoodie, and a bold red "Make America Great Again" hat, Elon Musk strolled through the mall. To many, he looked like just another eccentric billionaire out for a day of shopping, but the hat perched atop his head made him stand out more than usual. In Los Angeles, a place known for its liberal values, that hat wasn't just a piece of clothing, it was a symbol of division. As he walked past boutiques and luxury stores, whispers started to ripple through the crowd. People turned their heads, eyes widening as they recognized him. Some even stopped mid-stride, staring in disbelief. The MAGA hat had a polarizing effect, and it wasn't long before Musk's presence became the subject of quiet murmurs. Elon, however, remained blissfully unaware of the growing tension around him. He moved through the mall with the same calm and confidence that had become his trademark. But even in his relaxed manner, he could sense the discomfort building in the air. He had grown accustomed to being a public figure, to attracting attention, both positive and negative, but something felt different today. He wasn't just facing stares, there was an undeniable tension, an undercurrent of judgment that made him feel isolated, as though the very air had turned thick with suspicion. Elon walked into La Maison, a boutique known for its exclusivity. The warm scent of expensive perfume and polished wood greeted him as he stepped inside. The boutique was quiet, elegant, and intimate, a stark contrast to the growing crowd outside. But it wasn't long before a young sales associate spotted him. Her face faltered slightly when she saw the hat. She hesitated before approaching him, her voice shaky but polite. "Excuse me, sir," she began, "I'm sorry, but we have a policy against attire that could be considered offensive. I'll have to ask you to remove your hat or leave the store." The words stung more than he expected. Elon paused, glancing at the associate. He could see the nervousness in her eyes, the way her hands trembled slightly as she spoke. She wasn't the one he was angry with. She was just following rules, but in that moment, he felt the weight of her judgment, something that reached deeper than her words. With a slight smile, he responded, "Offensive? That seems subjective, don't you think?" Before she could answer, the store manager appeared. The manager was older, composed, and clearly aware of the stakes in this interaction. "Mr. Musk, it's an honor to have you here," he said, trying to keep the situation under control. "However, we've received several complaints. While we respect you as a customer, we must consider the comfort of all our clientele." The manager's voice was smooth, professional, but it lacked warmth, and in that moment, Elon couldn't shake the feeling of being unwelcome, of being treated as though he didn't belong. The sting was sharper than he anticipated. He wasn't just a man wearing a hat, he was a target, a representation of something that others found distasteful. Elon studied the manager for a moment, the tension hanging in the air. He adjusted his hat slightly, more out of habit than defiance, and without saying another word, nodded and turned to leave. His steps felt heavy, as though each movement was dragging him further from the comfort of the life he had built, from the ideals of free thought and expression that he held dear. The encounter was brief, but the unease in the boutique lingered long after he stepped outside. As Elon walked out of the store, the murmur of voices grew louder. A few shoppers, quick to grab their phones, began recording the exchange. The footage quickly made its way to social media, and within hours, the incident was viral. On Twitter, opinions collided. Some praised the boutique for upholding its policies, while others criticized the store for silencing free expression. The hashtag #MAGAWithMusk began trending, and Elon's tweet later that evening read, "Kicked out of a mall for wearing a hat?" Feels like 2025 is taking cancel culture to a new level. Freedom of thought is the cornerstone of progress. The tweet went viral, sparking debates across the globe. The incident became more than just a moment of controversy. It was a catalyst for discussions about free speech, tolerance, and the role of private establishments in regulating behavior. The more he thought about it, the more the weight of what had happened settled on his chest. It wasn't just about a hat or a political symbol. It was about something bigger, a reminder that even in spaces that promised freedom, there were lines drawn, invisible walls built to keep certain ideas out. A few days later, Elon made an unexpected announcement. He invited people to join him at a Tesla showroom in downtown Los Angeles for a public discussion on free thought and innovation. The invitation was simple: join me this Saturday at Tesla LA. Let's talk about freedom, progress, and why it's okay to disagree. Bring your ideas, and your hats. The event drew a crowd far larger than anyone had anticipated. People from all walks of life gathered, many wearing MAGA hats, others in rainbow-colored berets, environmental shirts, or sports caps. The energy was palpable, a gathering of people with opposing beliefs, brought together by a shared commitment to dialogue. It wasn't a rally for one cause or another, it was a rally for the power of conversation, for the right to stand in disagreement and still be heard. Elon took the stage amidst the crowd, his presence commanding attention. As he stood there, taking in the sight of thousands of people, many of whom had arrived with different perspectives, he began to speak. "This isn't about politics," he said, his voice calm yet passionate. "It's about freedom, the freedom to think differently, to express ideas, even when they make us uncomfortable." He paused, his eyes scanning the crowd. Disagreement is not a threat. It's an opportunity. An opportunity to learn, to grow, to innovate. That's what drives us forward. That's how Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink came to be. Not because we all agreed, but because we didn't. We challenged each other. We listened. His words resonated deeply with the audience. The crowd, who had entered the event as strangers or even adversaries, began to engage in conversation, exchanging ideas and debating in a way that felt constructive rather than hostile. People who had once seen themselves as on opposite sides of a political divide found common ground, united by the desire to foster real change. The event went viral, dominating headlines across the world. News outlets and social media debated the impact of the gathering, while critics of Musk accused him of using controversy to fuel his personal brand. But to Elon, it wasn't about the brand or the attention, it was about a message. Avalon Luxury Mall, facing mounting backlash, issued a statement acknowledging the controversy and expressing a desire to review its policies. As for Elon, he moved on. To him, the incident had been a moment of discomfort, but it had sparked something much bigger. It had ignited a conversation about freedom, about innovation, and about the need for uncomfortable discussions in order to evolve. And as always, Elon Musk remained unapologetically himself, unafraid of the discomfort that comes with challenging the status quo.